I have the PlayStation 5 in my collection for some time now, and also maybe you have the same thing. The question remains, is there another way we can play? Yes, there is. There is a different way we can play when it comes to the PlayStation 5. In my previous video I did an unboxing and I have been playing around with my PlayStation 5 for some time now. But when you're going to look at AliExpress and you're going to search for PlayStation 5 stuff, we can find some really weird stuff, but this particular one I think is pretty cool. What if I tell you, you have this monitor that you can basically like implement with your PlayStation 5 controller and play in a completely different way. You don't need to do any soldering or some weird stuff, you just click it on your controller. So let's take a close look at something pretty damn cool. So I wanted to take a close look at this product that I picked up from AliExpress, and I think it's a pretty damn cool one. So inside the box we're going to get everything that we're going to need. An HDMI cable, USB for powering on, and we're going to get all kinds of plastics. And the plastics are the adapters that you need to put around your controller. And this thing does have like a big support for different kind of controllers. Think about PlayStation 3, 4, 5 and the Xbox One series. But if you're going to pick up a kit like this, you can just say what kind of version you want to use it for and only going to receive one adapter. But again, I just wanted to check them all out, and especially for the PlayStation 5 one. But let's take a close look at the monitor, how we need to plug it in and how will this work in the end. I think it's a pretty damn cool piece of equipment, having this tiny portable screen on your controller. It's a very interesting design choice, and I think it's portable, but also it gives more like the same feeling like a Wii U. But how does it actually work? If you bought like the deluxe version for every single system, you need to figure out which one will be for the PlayStation 5 in this case. It's going to be this one. So what you need to do is just basically like put it around the controller, and that's the only thing that you need to do. It can be quite a challenge simply because when you're looking at the locking mechanism, you need to put the lip underneath over here. You need to be very gentle. It can have like some force, so you don't need to be afraid to break it that easily. But that's it. So everything has been attached. You can still use the touchpad over here and everything can be reached like a normal controller. So that's basically the first thing that you needed to do. The display they are using is not a 4K or something like that. So basically going down with the resolution, but that doesn't really matter if you ask me when it comes to the resolution. It does have like a very beautiful screen. I will show you later on. It also comes with a built-in speaker. Another thing that we need to do is remove these two screws, because we're going to need them to assemble it on the controller, and of course we need to remove the plastic that we're going to do later on in the special ASMR mode. So let's remove these two first, so we can basically like adjust the display. You can see over here there is a pattern inside of the controller holder, and the reason why, if you're going to put it in a certain position and you're going to like put the screws in, you can basically like put it in a certain position for the best way or how to make it more comfortable for you to play. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge to keep it in position, get the screws in, but after like some time you will get handy in it. I can tell you that I've been messing around too much with the screen. So the worst thing I'm always going to do is basically like putting one screw in all the way. Still not put it all the way in, simply because if you're going to do that, it's very difficult to put the second one in. So when you've done this, you can basically like attach a screen to your PlayStation 5 controller. Alright, let's lock it. Let's be very gentle because it's still all made out of plastic. You can see now it can move. If you're going to be very gentle, you're going to be seeing that it's going to be slightly difficult. And locking fairly easy, what you can see over here. It didn't even like tighten it up that crazy. But that's it, that's the only thing. So your controller with a display is ready. The controller has been assembled with the display, so the next thing that we need to do is connect it with the PlayStation 5. So let's do that. And we're not going to need these for the video anymore. But let's take a close look at how to connect. We're going to get two cables already shown you before. We're going to get ourselves the Type-C USB for the monitor, and we're going to get ourselves the HDMI mini that we're going to need for the monitor itself. And where do you plug them in? Here at the right side. We do have like an option for an audio jack, so if you want to use a headphone, I think that is even a possibility. Then we have like the HDMI mini and the Type-C for connection for the power. But let's connect the HDMI cable. So the only thing that we need to do is plugging the big boy inside of the PlayStation, and we're going to use the mini one for in the monitor. And the other one goes in here. Connecting the power can basically do on two different ways. The first one is just using a port on your PlayStation 5, and I don't know, it's going to be like very recommended. Another thing you can use is just a 5-volt charger for giving the display juice. I also implemented the extra USB cable for charging controller. I was just like working with it and I was like, you know, like what, let's charge the controller at the same time. Already have some cables. It's quite a contraption, but let's power it on and let's see what we're going to get. This thing actually boots up. And how does it work? The system booting up, and I can tell you, like, it shows the HDMI input, so it actually like recognized something, and there we go. The system has been booted up and it works like a charm, so we can actually play some games this way. It's what I already told you, it's quite a contraption with the cables, but I think it's more like the similar thing that we're going to get with the Wii U. So let's plug in some games and just see how it works. What I didn't mention before, I just wanted to mention it now when powering on. Basically, you have the option to turn on and off the monitor itself, but also you can mess around with the settings when it comes to brightness, contrast, another thing, and of course volume control. The first thing I noticed with this monitor, it's quite loud. We do have like two tiny speakers, it gives an amazing stereo sound, and when you're going to hold it, you do have like a very good experience. The first game I wanted to try is this amazing game I picked up, so Destruction All-Stars. I really love it. It brings me back in the time when Destruction Derby went all the way back to PlayStation 1. So let's try a little bit of gameplay. Alright, so let's play a little bit of this crazy game. I love this Destruction Derby meets Fortnite. But the overall experience is kind of interesting, simply because we have like audio coming from the back of the monitor, and at the same time you do have like the sound effects coming from your controller. So you can just like relax in the couch if somebody's using another television, and you can just actually like you play your games this way. That's really I just mentioned like before, it's kind of a Wii U idea, because it was back in the day quite similar. Only this bad boy basically like connects to your controller itself. I just wanted to try some Back 4 Blood, and the reason is because this is a quite, let's say, difficult game to play if you have like not the right monitor, especially because it's quite dark. So I just want to get into some gameplay just to see how this actually is going to be working out. I just wanted to try some Back 4 Blood, and the reason is because this is a quite, let's say, difficult game to play if you have like not the right monitor, especially because it's quite dark. So I just want to get into some gameplay just to see how this actually is going to be working out.
Hard copy. Solid copy. Up, one out. Well, you heard the general.
Always seek the higher ground. Over here.
Alright, so next up let's play a little bit of Gran Turismo number 7, and let's see how it actually plays on this tiny screen. I must say that it is a lot of fun, just to mess around with it. And it's kind of different experience, having a display on your controller. And if a Wicked loves something, it's going to be some backwards compatible with some PlayStation 4 games I really love to play, like this game. But this is another crazy way to play with your PlayStation 5. So I personally really like it. Let me know in the comments what you think of this basically contraption. I did wish that the seller gave me an option to get myself a spare plastic. I'm not going to say it's going to be something like a cheap plastic that will break easily, but hey, accident can happen, especially when you're going to click it on and off every single time. The construction itself, I must say that when you're playing around, it doesn't matter if you're going to like wiggle the screen a little bit here and there. It still like basically keeps the display on your controller. So and overall the construction is not bad at all.